Since that 4th of July night in 1986, when Sandi Patty's rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner caused the phone lines to jam at ABC News, Sandi has become one of the nation's best-loved performers. Whether it be to a sold-out crowd of thousands in an outdoor amphitheater, a worship gathering in a majestic cathedral, or during an intimate performance at the White House for the President and First Lady, she continues to celebrate life through her music and bring the message of hope and encouragement to others. 15 years ago, Sandi Patty's first album was released. With 11 million in sales since then, Sandi has amassed an astounding 33 Dove Awards and 5 Grammy Awards, 3 Platinum and 5 Gold albums, and she has performed before millions in concert appearances. These days, Sandi Patty celebrates past accomplishments, but more importantly, embraces the joy of the present. Sandi's latest word epic project, Oh Holy Night, is a Christmas album recorded live with the London Session Orchestra. This record includes perennial favorites such as Angels We Have Heard on High, White Christmas, Silver Bells, and I'll Be Home for Christmas. This record also presents a song not traditionally associated with Christmas albums, the Rodgers and Hammerstein classic, My Favorite Things.
My Favorite Things has been a favorite, and you don't typically think of it as a traditional Christmas song, and yet on my list of favorite things, always my kids are right up there at the very top. And I got to sing with them on a song called Star of Bethlehem that my minister of music wrote. A wonderful, wonderful song, and definitely lends itself to children's voices. But there is one particular song right at the beginning where my son Jonathan, who's 8 years old, has always had the sweetest, purest little voice, and you have to kind of trick him into things. And I said, you know, why don't you just sing this song and kind of show the other kids how it goes? And so he sang this beautiful little solo that I sang with him later on. There's a beautiful duet with me and my son. It's kind of a first. And that's definitely one of my favorite things. One of the highlights for me on the Christmas record is a song called Carol of the Bells. In high school, I sang it with madrigals and very traditional, you know, 4-part a cappella. David Hamilton, who's a great arranger, did the most phenomenal arrangement with this. Orchestra and a men's choir along with me singing the solo. And it's just been a favorite, but now it takes it to a new level for me. It's an incredible song. The last 6 or so years, a group of artists have gotten together and done a tour called the Young Messiah Tour. This year we're going to kind of do the same thing, but it won't be the music of the Young Messiah. It'll be brand new music from a musical called Emmanuel. The format will be pretty much the same, where several of us artists will share the evening. The first half being some of our favorite Christmas songs, and having just come off of a Christmas album, it'll be a great way to introduce some of those songs from my Christmas album, as well as spend a couple of weeks with some artists that I think are pretty terrific. Life is very full these days. I have a wonderful home. My husband and 8 kids and myself, and we are just full of, the house is full of love and laughter and lots of laundry. Kids range from 12, 888, 764, and 3.5 months, which is something kind of new. My husband Don is adopted. We hadn't even considered adding to our pack, but the way we got our little guy was just so incredible. And I had kind of said to the Lord, you know, if you want something to happen, you'll just drop a baby in our lap, and hadn't really thought any more about it. And one day got a phone call from a friend of mine who said, do you know of anybody who wants to take a baby? We can't find a home for this baby. Her husband is an attorney. And I thought, okay, this is the first sign, but we had a family meeting and talked about it, and some consensus was that while it would be exciting, we're a little crazy. We already have 7 kids. And the next day we woke up and it was still very much on our mind, and I knew I had to go see this little baby. And so before we went to see him, I said, Lord, we need a miracle here. I mean, we need a sign. We're not talking subtle. We're talking smack you in the face, burning bush here. And when we went up to see him, before we went up to see him, as we had talked, we had said, you know, if we ever adopted, we'd like to name him Sam, because that was my husband's father's name. We just thought that would be kind of special. So when we went up to see him and asked for a sign, a burning bush, etc., they wheeled this little guy in, this precious little 4-pound, 11-ounce little boy. And the nurses, who never ever named the children that are going to be put up for adoption, had already named him Sam. I was like, okay, I think we've got our smack you in the face sign here. Well, they had cut out his name on a little, white construction paper and put little rainbows all around it. And here was his name, Sam, surrounded by rainbows. Now, Samuel means God has heard, which I think is very cool. But I got to thinking also about the rainbows, and the first time God ever gave rainbows was as a promise that there would never be a storm like that again. And Sam was kind of God's restoration for us in physical form. Here was a new life that we were given, we were entrusted with to raise this child in the ways of the Lord. And here was rainbows saying, you know what, the storm's over. It's going to be okay. I've been with you through it, and I'm going to be with you now. And there's never going to be a storm like that again.
Oh Holy Night is the latest of Sandi's premier records and is sure to be not only a bestseller, but a family classic to enjoy throughout the years. Coming to stores in September.